hizo el pensamiento que mi madre también fue mujer. Una flor me recuerda su nombre y esa flor jamás se acabará. En tu vida ya tienes otro hombre, yo te colme de felicidad.
¿Cómo?
I want to show this, man. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. I told the guy, Jose, he's carving it, and I said, that's beautiful, you know. He said, oh, it's just a hobby I do, you know, to keep myself busy. He's 65 and he's got cancer, you know. So what do you do in that position, you know? Yeah. You find something to channel all your energy into, you know. But it's like, it's beautiful because it's so delicate. But he's this big guy, you know, old, works on a fishing boat, you know. But that's beautiful craftsmanship. And it's a material that's fleeting, like him, you know. He was saying, he said, you know, I don't know, the cancer's kind of serious.
Yeah, well, we are in Los Angeles, California.
As you can hear.
As you can hear.
Helicopters.
Plug, Daily Plug.
My name's Craig Havens, and what I do for a living is I work with photography mostly, but I work with it in a way that tries to ask it to do things that it doesn't normally do. It works with normal photography, but it also tries to expand what people think it's capable of, you know. So I'm really fortunate in that I'm able to do that and to teach. And so what I love to do, you're saying, you know, what do you really love to do? And then what do you do as work? And I'm at a point where I don't see a difference. Even if I do things that feel like work, like maybe I teach a class but I'm tired or I'm sick, but I have a responsibility to fulfill. It can start to feel like work at those points. But I'm finding that if you put your mind to it, everything can be playful. You know, everything can be a play, and nothing is work. If you're able to really, really live that, not just fool yourself into thinking it or coming up with ways of speaking about it that are sort of tricky, but to really feel that, you know, whatever you're doing, you can treat it as a game, and you can play at it, and it can be opening a door, you know, it can be washing dishes, and that's a great challenge. So, you know, the question between work and passion is, I think, one where you have to marry the two. You have to bring them both into one another's worlds, you know. Do something with passion and find a way to do the thing that brings you income. If you're speaking strictly about, you know, monetary gain, find a way to inject that with your passion as well. So I teach art, I teach photography, and I make photography in a way that maps my attractions. And then I also I create work for businesses and clients who are commercially based.
True as anything I heard all day today.
Talk to Fred. You gotta keep trying.
So you want to just talk about what's going on?
Yeah, what's happening?
Well, we're downtown. We're in the public area of the Caltrans building, which controls all of the funding for the state freeways, roads, and bridges. So we're sitting a little bit across the way from a pretty good-sized rally of people who are just coming out to show up and be here in solidarity with a lot of workers, state workers, public workers that serve the public in Wisconsin who are losing their jobs or are about to lose their jobs if the governor of the state is allowed to push through draconian cuts to their rights, basically their basic rights to be in a union. So, the unions allow these workers to negotiate terms on their contracts so that they can make a good living and raise a family, and but we've kind of lost our skills when it comes to protest in America. We're rusty. I don't think we know how to do it as well as other countries, but really all you have to do is get out of the house and walk down to wherever everybody's meeting and everybody says whatever they're saying, and then you go home. That's a protest, and it's a great day out, so it's not hard. It's just we kind of forget that it's easy. We forget how easy it is. I wanted to show you this because my grandfather was in the Navy during World War II, and he moved from New Jersey to live in San Diego and be a pipe fitter on the ships. He was a plumber, and he did the steam piping and all that on the ships. And my grandmother moved out here, and she hated it in a way because she was so scared of the earthquakes. She was a Italian girl, and she just was used to living in New Jersey. But what he did was he brought her up here on the train to Los Angeles to try to show her the sights, And they were young. She was beautiful too. And they were just I have this whole collection of pictures from that trip where they were photographing each other. They were handing the camera off, and she's posing and he's posing. And one of them was her leaning on this pedestal. And on the back of the print, she had written to him, what it says on this pedestal is what we need to do. And I just saw this print this year, and I thought, where in LA is that? Where is that thing? And I think she had written Union Station on the back, because I connected it to Union Station. I thought, I've never seen that. And I know Union Station. I love Union Station. And I've never seen that thing. So today, when I came down here to meet you, I was waiting. I'm walking around out here, and I turn around, and here it is. Here's this pedestal that 50, 60 years ago, maybe now, you know, my grandmother leaned on this thing. And she was leaning this way. She was over here. And he was looking from this perspective at her. And she's saying, what it says on this pedestal is what we should do. And it's really wonderful because it says, vision to see, and then faith to believe. And on the other side, it says courage to do. It's a little, you know, you'd walk by this and it was set up by the, I don't know, the mothers of the revolution of like Los Angeles or something. It's very much a public monument, but because it's connected to that personal memory of mine, it's meaningful. This is a beautiful place, though. This was one of the last train stations that was built, you know, and in the great era of, you know, train stations, this was one of the last ones because it's in the West Coast, and you know, they built out, and I think 3 different railroads, the Union, the Pacific, and another one, I don't know, but like 3 railroads got together and funded the place and built it, and it was, yeah, it was one of the last great big stations built in the country. So it's the newer of them. It's really a slice of history. Los Angeles has so many different people and so many different types of artists that it's hard to know which ones to talk about. Like, there's so many different communities of creative individuals, and then there's creative individuals that have no community at all. I mean, like this guy, you know, he's an artist. I mean, this is a work of art. Even conceptually, this works, you know, and nobody knows about it. And there's a lot of people that do that in LA. They work very alone, you know. That interests me. Really just points back to everyday experience. You know, it just kind of points you back to the now, and it says that, like, what's happening in front of you is could be considered art, and is probably far more interesting than what is considered art. You know, if you experience, if you give it the same attention that people give to art in a museum, or you know, art in a church, or in a place like this, you know, the paintings on the ceiling, these spaces tell people to tune in to a little different way of observing. And so people, like, just now I'm seeing people like walk around staring at these old chairs because, you know, these things are relics. They've been here for so long. So places like this activate that in people. But I'm interested in, as an artist, you know, personally, I'm interested in seeing how I can activate that at every moment, about every space I'm in, about every, you know, condition I'm in, every person I meet. And as I'm able to do that, like, consistently in my experience 24 hours a day, then it becomes really easy to turn that into commodifiable objects, or, you know, pictures or prints or sculptures or documents of some kind that, you know, if I wanted to introduce them into the marketplace of people who buy and sell art, then I'd have something to present to that marketplace. But that's a separate question from the doing. you know, the doing happens for me because I've set up my system this way. The doing happens outside of that system to some extent. And then when it's all done, I decide whether it's something I want to put forward as a representation of my catalog or, you know, index of experience over the course of me, you know, acting like an artist, you know, being an artist in my life. So it's just a constant process of cataloging what I'm experiencing, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, who I'm talking to, who I'm being with, ideas that are colliding, discoveries I've made, meetings, and you know, giving them a meaning, giving them a structure that gives a point of view to my presence in the world. The doing happens for me because I've set up my system this way. The doing happens outside of that system to some extent. And then when it's all done, I decide whether it's something I want to put forward as a representation of my catalog or, you know, index of experience over the course of me, you know, acting like an artist, you know, being an artist in my life. So it's just a constant process of cataloging what I'm experiencing, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, who I'm talking to, who I'm being with, ideas that are colliding, discoveries I've made, meetings, and you know, giving them a meaning, giving them a structure that gives a point of view to my presence in the world. And I really believe that if, as an artist, you can get lost in doing that. You can really allow yourself to be lost in that, but still remember to eat and sleep and you know, feed your children if you have them and all those normal things. Then you are going to have an amazing life. You're going to have an amazing experience. And amazing lives and amazing experiences translate into amazing art and, you know, amazing histories. So I'm still pretty young. I mean, I'm definitely not quite into the middle of this yet. So, but I feel like I'm having really good realizations and really owning it and feeling very at home, thinking that could be the rest of my life. You know, that's fine with me. You know, I'm very happy if I could continue to have the privilege of doing this. You know, I think it's the best. I can't imagine anything for myself that would be better. Yeah.
Wow.
These are beautiful. Aren't these all really interesting scenes?
Yeah.
I don't